Hi, this is Cajun, and it's time for our weekly conference call at vectorspaceai. First, we'll consider what's happening around the world. The markets are being propped, or were being propped, by SoftBank. They have been identified as the whale that has been responsible for the latest whipsaws in global markets, with the S&P leading that whipsawing activity. And with SoftBank buying options to the tune of, I think it was $30 billion in call options. They had at least $30 billion in exposure. They had $9 billion wiped off the value Monday, and that is based on, I think, about $4 billion that they moved in and out on a regular basis of the top FANG issues of the S&P 500. And the FANGs, of course, as you know, would be Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google, along with a few others. And at the same time, they were engaged in what's called a delta neutral strategy, which meant that they were buying options and selling stock or vice versa. Anyway, that has resulted in a negative 34% drop in Tesla and a negative 18% drop in Apple. And that's not the end of the story here. It looks like the global markets are going to continue to be correlated to crypto. And this means that this has an effect on our company and our space. And when we look at our space, we might want to touch on crypto in just a bit, a little more, after we consider what's happening within our industry, and our industry being the dataset industry. We found a headline that was titled, "Google's Big Bird Model Improves Natural Language and Genomics Processing." And last week, or the week before, we touched on the fact that Google and Microsoft are releasing BioBERT and NLP models for modeling human language and the intelligence built into that to solve for diseases. So this is becoming a very big part of the drive of the global economy, and that relates to life sciences, and a large amount of funding, the largest in the history of humankind, being directed to life sciences. And as a result, you've got companies like Google, Google's cloud division, Google L. They're investing $100 million into a company called Amwell, who's leveraging natural language processing. That was brought out on our channel recently. And there is another company that's IPOing, GoodRx. So these are all signals that we pay attention to, not just signals that are used by our customers, but these are signals that enable us to foresee or predict where the market is going and where the opportunities might be in the future. And that's very important right now with all this uncertainty. When you look at the crypto market, you can see, like mentioned before, they're highly correlated, more so than ever, to the global financial markets. And this really means for the crypto space to kind of pay attention to an old mantra of the traditional markets, which is you can't fight the tape. So as the correlations continue, it's important for us to execute on the short side and on the long side. And that's what we're doing. We are also looking at crypto being adopted by various stock exchanges, traditional market stock exchanges. And this is where we come into play, being the bridge. Two traditional stock market exchanges, I think it was the German DAX, and another one is in Singapore and in Stockholm, I think it was Vienna, that are getting together to list cryptos. So that's very important for the world markets to pay attention to, especially US markets, as they prepare to list cryptos, including our own. On the internal corporate side, everything is steady as she goes there, as corporate is lining up to function in lockstep with engineering. And this means, and this is actually a good segue into our engineering section, engineering, operations, and product. And this means that we are continuing to work on the dataset toolkit, and this is another version that includes a sample datasets, clustering, visualization, and code, and we should have that ready any day now. It's taking a little longer than we thought, but we will have it ready, as we're also working on another product called the Dataset Development Kit. And what we've noticed is that as we worked on the dataset toolkit and as customers began to interact with it, actually our own internal customers initially, we began to realize that we're going to need a lot more, and this has resulted in the dataset development kit. And that would include custom data sources, custom datasets, rows, columns, custom context, custom clustering and other calculations and methods, custom visualizations, including graph networks, hierarchical clustering, and heat maps and code, and custom validation and testing. For example, citations that provide evidence for the relationships, and custom backtesting for financial markets customers, and code for that. And that's the dataset development kit, and this is what we're going to be distributing to hedge funds, asset management companies in the financial market space. We're also going to gear it towards every industry, and we're going to be providing examples of how it's used in different industries, how the dataset development kit and how datasets are used in different industries, in particular our own datasets. And that would include examples of how our datasets are being used at CERN, at the National Library of Medicine, and through S&P Global. Now, most of what we just talked about was on the institutional enterprise side. On the retail and consumer side, we are pushing forward with personalized datasets. And a personalized dataset, of course, can be a dataset that enables you to generate a smart basket that you can trade, or a nutritional index, or an engineered diet related to your microbiome or epigenetic factors. And then, of course, we've got data sets related to other consumer and retail operations that we've engaged in the past, related to recommendation systems and so forth. But we will focus and keep our focus on the financial industry and the life sciences industry for obvious reasons. On the customers, partners, and collaborators side, we are continuing to work with the 3 trading desks, and we have had a shortened week with a holiday here, but typically that enables engineers to do a little more work, get a little more work done, a little more exploratory work, and side projects as well. And sometimes those side projects turn into multi-million-dollar products. We are continuing to throttle customers coming in, and that just means we are not engaged in any active outreach right now or active customer acquisition, aggressive customer acquisition. We are maintaining a strategy that requires us to deliver for our customers, and we'll talk more about that later for the initial customers. This way we have more information, more data points we can use to make better decisions here. On the sales and marketing side, it's steady as she goes, and that includes the IR, PR, and Marcom side. And the exchanges side. We don't have any updates yet on the exchanges side. On questions from the trader base. Our first question is, have you recently raised money? The answer is yes, we have. We're raising in the smallest possible tranches as we build to support an exponential growth curve in revenue. Now, we remain in talks with a handful of groups that are interested in providing capital to us to speed things up, but we're continuing to negotiate with them based on the current valuation and net asset value associated to this company. We'll likely close when VXV trades above $1. Close on a large round. The second question is, are you selling VXV tokens on the market? No, we are not selling VXV tokens on the open market. That's not something that is beneficial to anybody. It would not be wise. The third question is, you now have revenue generating customers, so when approximately will VectorSpace start buying as much VXV tokens as it can? Well, it's not that you flip a switch and now that you've got revenue generating customers, the day is done. That's not how it works. This is an ongoing process of building upon customer discovery after customer discovery. Every time you make a customer discovery, it either impacts a faster path to revenue, or impacts a more efficient way for onboarding, or impacts a product line, or a solution, or a feature that they've requested that you can now use to apply to every customer you have in every industry. It's those kinds of things that we need to deliver on, and we are delivering on them, but we cannot say we're fully delivered until the customer is fully satisfied. The next question, it was said you would add liquidity to Uniswap after IDEX listing. Has your stance changed? No, our stance has not changed. As soon as we take on a few more customers, liquidity will significantly increase across the board. We're not worried about that. The next question is, what is your PR and marketing strategy? Well, this seems to be a question that's asked repeatedly, and that's okay. We adapt to the market as the market changes. And right now, there are 4 things that have not changed related to our marketing strategy. Number 1, our marketing strategy involves the top priority goal of being recommended as a product to your friends or based on word of mouth. And number 2 would be to leverage the large external PRs of our billion-dollar customers and partners, which they're happy to do, which would include testimonials. And number 3, of course, would be entering the academic realm of AI and ML in terms of being able to bundle our data sets to assist in any kind of increase in skill or experience that students might walk away with from taking any AI and ML classes around the world. And of course, number 4, cross-pollination between industries. For example, we're servicing the financial industry, the financial markets industry. We're also servicing the life sciences industry, the pharmaceutical industry. And there's cross-pollination that can happen. For example, an algorithmically generated expert network. Next, we'll move on to dataset insights, but I have a note here that we're going to be covering that in strategy, so that's what we'll do. And strategy is our next section here, so we'll move on to that. The first note I have here is to discuss this topic where our team have been posting relevant articles related to our industry and related to the cryptocurrency space, and not just our industry, but every industry service. And it's been hard or difficult for some to make the connection sometimes. So if anyone needs the connection to be made, feel free to let us know on the channel where you see anything posted. Just ask us to make the connection for you, and we'll happily do so. To any articles posted or to any information that this company distributes to the public, we will make the connection right back to data sets and to the bottom line, and of course to your pocketbook. Just let us know. We'll continue to leverage strategies behind the dataset toolkit and dataset development kit. And on the dataset insights side, we are handling our dataset insights over 2 public channels, VXV-dataset support and VXV-developer support. And we have another one we've added just today, VXV-precision medicine. This is where we'll discuss personalized data sets for precision medicine. So you're welcome to join that channel. We'll be publicly posting an invite link. And we want to mention that in relation to throttling customers, this is important for us to do. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, and that's a very tricky scenario to be in, so we want to avoid that and set the right expectations, as we continue to say. And this includes actually delivering for our first few customers. And that process of delivery, it involves something that relates to discovering what the true customer needs are. A lot of the time you'll have a customer say they want one thing or ask for a feature, and what they really want is something else. So it's those kinds of things that we work through when we deal with enterprise customers. And retail customers, but not as much. Not nearly as much. And this is also very difficult to do when you're offering a product that is completely new and innovative. And we're pretty excited about this. We'd like to be 100% transparent, but we cannot be 100% transparent with the intellectual property that we have. This is our competitive edge. This is the result of years of work and involves trade secrets, and also involves customer confidentiality agreements. But we're very excited about what we're working on here, and what we'd like to be able to say is that what we're working on relates to every industry and relates to powering or augmenting or making every industry's AI and ML operations operate at between 10, 20 to 30% better in terms of accuracy and precision, breadth of alpha and breadth of signal. We can also say that we've locked onto a significant product market fit in this new data-driven world that we're in. And this world is more data-driven than ever, and that's why it represents a significant opportunity for us. And we don't yet know of a single competitor. They're going to come, they're going to create noise, but they haven't yet. So we're in a highly strategic position, a highly advantageous position that we want to maintain. This has been a pre-recorded call. If you have any additional questions, feel free to send them over the channel. Otherwise, I will see you online. Thanks for joining.